Alright guys, check this out. We got the Brent oil here, and we've had a spectacular move. In fact, we were right here calling for that move, right? We were right on top of that downside reversal. We were broadcasting that live, basically that event, and we called that. You remember that was a kind of a special session we had on the crude oil, and we call on the Brent oil. And we call this one the qualified exhaustion gap. Remember, it was gapping right across a fundamental resistance level of 69.33, and as it began to close that gap, that's where we were here announcing that, tipping point. That was our call, and it worked out phenomenally well. In fact, it produced a strong reaction on the other side, guys. This is what we call the opposite gap, or the mirroring gap, where you have a second gap, right? A second gap. This is not the first one. A second comes after a first one, which is a prominent gap like this one, a qualified gap, right? And then at the other side of that range, we have a second gap, right, that is crossing on another fundamental key level here, 60.48. Obviously, you remember this one, right? 60.48, that was our target. We had that bearish campaign. When we pulled the trigger after that exhaustion gap, we were aiming at 60.48. It was an amazing touchdown we had here just a couple of days ago. And then, of course, the market, well, actually, it was last Friday. Then, of course, the market gapped with this. Take a look with this move here. Right at the beginning of the week, we had this gap, which, if it's going to get closed out, right, let's say price is going to come back up, close that gap, and then break through 60.48, that's going to be a big sign of the end of this particular move. The end of this particular move and the beginning of a new upside move that could take us back to where we came from, pretty much. The higher section, 65.15 should be the very minimum level we should aspire here, for price to go to. But basically right now, all eyes are really on today, well, let's just say the next couple of days, because price could travel a little bit longer around this area here, the lower section, but at some point it should come back and close that gap. And when I say at some point, I'm talking about the remainder of this week. It has to be on this week. If it's not going to be on this week, we're going to deactivate the whole formation here. All right. But for now, we're not taking a bullish conviction, because our primary condition is for price to actually close that gap and break through 60.48. Until that happens, we're not going to take that bullish conviction, and definitely not going to pull the trigger on a bullish position. All right. So guys, it should be super interesting to follow up on the evolving situation here with the Brent oil. It's been really it's been a very nice journey all the way down. Now let's see if we can flip over and start a new fresh bullish conviction here. All right, guys, that's about it for the Brent oil. That's about it for today. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.